Hi, the no one who is probably going to watch this video. I thought that I would kind of go over another G-Man video, which is really getting under my skin. Again, one day I'll move on to something else, but it takes me a while because he keeps putting up these absolutely asinine things, and I can understand I'm not going to make my entire channel just hating on G-Man, but I'm going to start it out that way because he's really fun to just tear apart. It's not as though that it's at all difficult, but fun nonetheless. So he made this video called More Proof Atheists Practice a Religion. So he doesn't really deal with it. All he does is he talks about some chick who apparently he thinks that she's practicing a religion because she feels a certain way about the existence of God, and talks about it, so clearly that's a religion. I'm not going to deal with that. I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You know, I mean, this isn't an argument. No one with any level of rationality believes this horse crap. It's just, I'm not going to deal with that. But the question that I have for him is, can you at least understand where the atheist is coming from? I mean, I understand where the Christian is coming from. I used to be one. I know where they at least I have a reasonable idea as to where their beliefs spawn from. I have an idea. I talk with Christians all the time. I can sympathize with their position. I just wish that he could give us the same respect. With regards to the Bible, you have to understand that the atheist sees the Bible from an external perspective. We're not in the religion, right? So we have to be convinced that the religion is correct before we would convert, right? I mean, that's how the process works. So can you understand that when we look at the Bible and we see genocide, and we see that word that you didn't understand is infanticide, right? Well, infanticide is killing of babies, right? So, this is pretty bad stuff, you know? I'm not a pro-life person necessarily, but neither is your God. So, you know, that's what Richard Dawkins was talking about with that. But I think the most important perspective to really get through your head, to understand where the atheist is coming from, at least where I'm personally coming from, is if you would read the metaphor, the best metaphor that's ever been done. It's, in my opinion at least, I think it's absolutely stupendous, is the Carl Sagan invisible dragon in my garage metaphor. If you read that, the idea goes in summary, that imagine that I would say to you that I have an invisible dragon in my garage, or a dragon in my garage, and you would say, oh, this is great. You know, there have been stories throughout thousands of years of people seeing dragons and all these tales of everything from King Arthur to ancient China where there's been dragons, so this would be awesome to see an actual dragon in real life. So you follow me to my garage and you look inside, and you see some empty paint cans, you see a ladder against the wall, you see some trash cans, and you're like, well, where's the dragon? And I say, oh, well, he's actually an invisible dragon, so you can't see him. So then you go, well, why don't we spread powder on the floor, and so we can see his footprints? Well, and I say, oh, that's a great idea, but see, he's a floating invisible dragon, so you actually, you know, the footprint thing wouldn't work. And you say, oh, okay, well, why don't we get a spray paint can, we spray the dragon, so then making him visible. You say, I say, oh, that's a great idea, but actually he's incorporeal, so the paint wouldn't stick. You say, okay, well, why don't we get a heat detector so we can detect whether that, when he breathes fire, and see that the heat from the flame. And I say, oh, that's a great idea, but his flame is actually heatless, so you can't really detect it. And so on, with every physical test that you put forth to see if there's actually an invisible dragon in my garage, I come back with some ridiculous idea as to why it just plain won't work. Well, so, this is kind of how we see God. I mean, we need some actual evidence before I would believe in this God. And aside from that, like with what Richard Dawkins was saying, the evidence that you provide is ghastly. It's terrible what your God does. And you can rationalize it in any way, shape, or form that you want, but you can't tell me that explaining that, oh, well, a long time ago it was the society, so God said that slavery was okay. That doesn't convince me that that's a legitimate argument. That doesn't convince me that your God is any more real. seriously, I mean, at least give us the respect of saying that you understand where we are coming from.